Welcome back into the Rowdy Studio. I'm Stephen Levine. Tom Vandervoort is on the end, and we are joined by Sporting News' NASCAR editor, Jeff Owens.
Now, He's a radical. He's a radical.
He wants to change everything. Jeff,
Throw it out. Start over.
You wrote a column on Sporting News, and it's something that we actually had been talking about on the Rowdy podcast just yesterday, which is sort of changing these chase tracks around. 5 downforce tracks, 5.5 mile downforce tracks in the chase. Very few of these sort of iconic NASCAR tracks, and you, in your version of the schedule, you throw Richmond and Bristol and Darlington and Martinsville's already in there. Watkins Glen, which I love, having a road course in the chase.
Yeah, I just think it needs to be mixed up a lot. We've got those 5 cookie cutter 1.5 mile tracks in the chase, and I think that's too many, and I think we see what the results are at those tracks most of the time. They very seldom lend itself to great racing and great finishes. And I think there needs to be more tracks. I think NASCAR needs to go down the schedule and say, these are the tracks where we have our best races, the best action, the best finishes, the most drama, and those should be your 10 races in the chase.
Well, you know, I agree with you, and I almost would push it one step further. I don't understand the notion, and I'm sure it's true, but the idea that we can't change the schedule every year. Yeah. It seems like if you give a track a year and a half in advance to change a date by a month or 2 or even 3 months, that they ought to be able to handle that when they have 1 or 2 events a year. Why can't the chase be different every year?
I definitely agree. I'm sure that it's probably not logistically easy.
It's probably hard, but it might be worth it, right?
It's probably going to be very difficult. There's probably things that are involved with it that we aren't privy to and we aren't thinking about. I'm sure it's difficult, but NASCAR's made some very difficult decisions over the past few years, and they've done it to make the chase better. You know, whoever dreamed that they would tear up the point system and create a brand new one? And why do they do that? They did that to make the championship race more exciting and closer. They've tweaked the thing ever since it's been in its existence.
Just the chase itself was a radical departure.
They're always making big moves to make things more exciting and make the racing on the track better. And I think this is another step they need to take. Your short tracks are the races that everybody looks forward to every year. All 3 of them should be in the chase. Well, we need a road course.
Then Jeff, why do you end your chase with 3 downforce tracks in a row?
Yeah, Jeff.
No, that's a good point. that basically because I ran out of exciting tracks, to be perfectly honest with you. But you do need some 1.5 mile tracks in there. 5 is too many. 3 might be too many, perhaps. But I looked at the rest of the tracks. You know, you start with your Richmonds and Martinsvilles and Bristol. You got to have a restrictor plate track in there. Darlington belongs in there because of its uniqueness and its challenge and its history.
It's an icon.
Absolutely. Talladega belongs in there. You want to get a road course in there. And after you go through those tracks, you're left with your 1.5 mile tracks or your 2 mile tracks. So I took a look at it and said, okay, which of those are either the best 1.5 mile tracks, or I took it a step further, and in this case, I did look at the big markets where it would be a big event. Texas, I think, needs to stay because that's a big event. They really know how to market it. It is a big market. When you go to Texas, it feels like a big race.
Well, everything's bigger in Texas.
Well, that's what they say, and to a lot of extent, I think that's true. Las Vegas needs to be in there for the same reason. The race out there, not necessarily that great. Compared to your other 1.5 mile tracks, it's okay.
But in your schedule, it's the only Western race in the chase.
You got to make a West Coast swing, and Las Vegas is a big city for NASCAR. It's a destination. It's a place where fans will travel to. They'll pack the place, and if you take your second to last chase race there, it becomes a big event, and Las Vegas knows how to promote it and turn it into a big event.
And you make Charlotte your finale.
Charlotte's your finale because it's Charlotte.
Do you end it with the 600?
Why not? I mean, you know, that's taken away from a tradition, a Memorial Day tradition. I don't think you do that, but the 500-mile race is a great way to end the season at Charlotte. I just think this is the home of the sport, and that's where the champion needs to be celebrated.
All right. For Jeff Owens and Tom Vandervoort, I'm Stephen Levine. Leave your comments below. Let us know what you think of Jeff's rejiggered chase schedule.